We've all been sitting here waiting for alt season to kick off, and honestly, it feels like we've been waiting forever. But here's the thing, the longer this takes, the better it actually is for us. Why? Because all that extra time means more money is piling up behind the scenes, just waiting to flood into those big market cap coins and the altcoins we're all holding. This is seriously where we start making some real money. So I wanted to chat about what Tom Lee just dropped on us, because we're watching this massive shift happen right in front of us that proves how we altcoin holders, whether you're sitting on XRP, HBAR, whatever you've got, are about to cash in big time from what Tom Lee's doing right now. Let me walk you through the path to alt season real quick. You've probably seen this chart a million times. I've been showing it for weeks now because I'm pretty convinced we're officially in phase 2. Even with this latest market action, Ethereum's been bouncing back harder than Bitcoin, which tells us something huge. There's way more strength, way more buying pressure, way more demand behind Ethereum than Bitcoin right now. And look, it's not just retail. The big institutional players and enterprise folks are jumping on the Ethereum train too. I've been telling you guys about all these signals we're seeing, and here's a massive one. Ethereum usage just smashed yearly records. We're talking 1.82 million transactions in one day. Plus you've got layer 2s taking off, real-world assets getting tokenized, and DeFi quietly going crazy in the background. But that's not even the best part. The buying pressure on Ethereum is absolutely insane right now, and here's why. Public companies are stacking Ethereum like there's no tomorrow. All these big-name institutional players with their Ethereum ETFs are basically throwing parties over their inflow numbers. Get this, they're actually beating Bitcoin ETF inflows. Like, how wild is that? So yeah, we're definitely in phase 2 now. The cool thing is we're watching all that money flip from Bitcoin straight into Ethereum in real time. This is your moment to lock in if you haven't already. If you're holding altcoins, pay attention because this is huge for us. What just happened with Bitcoin money flowing into Ethereum, that's just the warm-up act. Wait until you see how high Ethereum actually rockets, because that exact same flow is about to happen from Ethereum into our altcoins. All we got to do is stay patient here. I know, that's a lot to ask when we've already been waiting forever. But seriously, trust me on this one, the wait is going to be so worth it. All right, let's step away from Ethereum for the M2 supply is going crazy everywhere. China, the US, EU, Japan, Germany, they're all pumping more money into their systems. And China, dude, theirs has been absolutely exploding since New Year's. But here's what's wild about the US numbers. We went from $21.88 trillion to $22.02 trillion just like that. The next batch of numbers drops at the end of this month on August 26th, and you can already see this massive spike happening. Let me put this in perspective for you. If we roll back to December 2024, we were sitting at 21.44 trillion. That's 21.4 trillion for anyone keeping track. We just crossed 22 trillion. So from December until right now, we've thrown almost $600 billion into the US M2 supply. Like, think about how absolutely nuts that is. Now, I'm definitely keeping my eyes glued to this next release because I'm pretty sure we're going to jump from 22 trillion, and just so we're clear, that's 22,000 billion we're talking about here, probably up to around 22.2 trillion. The Fed's been sneakily pumping liquidity into the system behind the scenes to prop up these markets in a major way. So why should we care about all this? Well, first off, Bitcoin and crypto have been basically shadow dancing with the M2 supply for a while now, and get this. There's now a 92% chance that Powell's going to cut rates at the next Fed meeting in September. When that happens, every single market is going to absolutely explode. I mean, when we see this rate cut hit, it's going to send markets through the roof. And here's the crazy part. Just think about how ridiculously bullish everything is for crypto right now. Ethereum's already starting to go nuts. Ethereum's going absolutely bonkers right when we're hitting phase 2 of alt season. The M2 supply is exploding, and now we've got a 90.2% chance of a rate cut in September, 96.7% in October, and get this, 99.3% chance in December. This is basically giving the Fed a free pass to keep printing money like crazy, pump these markets even higher, and flood the system with even more cash. When the M2 supply goes nuts like this, crypto and stocks are going to follow right behind and go completely insane too. And all this is happening while XRP is sitting pretty above $3 and Ethereum's pushing almost $3,700. Here's something interesting though. XRP has actually been crushing Ethereum. It really wouldn't shock me at all. People think that's nuts, but just look at where Bitcoin is right now. We're almost back at 115K, and it smashed through $123,000 last cycle when the previous high was around $67,000. So do the math. We basically doubled from that old all-time high, right? Now flip that over to Ethereum. Its all-time high was just under $5,000. So a double from there puts us right around 10K. The logic totally checks out. Now, here's where it gets really spicy. If Ethereum actually hits $10,000 and we see that altcoin season money start flowing, coins like XRP are going to go absolutely ballistic. And this is all happening while Tom Lee just dropped some major news about BitMine. Get this, the company is now sitting on 833,000 Ethereum, which is close to $3 billion worth. That makes them the biggest Ethereum holder in the world and the third largest crypto treasury period. Like, check this out.
Just a month ago, I was on the show to announce I was becoming chairman. And at the time, the stock was $4.50, and we announced a $250 million investment led by Founders Fund and Mosaics and others. But today we announced that we reached almost $3 billion worth of ETH. And
the largest ETH holder then.
Yeah, the largest ETH treasury in the world and the third largest crypto treasury in the world. And we also announced that Bill Miller III made a major investment last week into BitMine. So that he joins Cathie Woods in investing in our company in the past couple weeks.
But here's the thing that's absolutely mind-blowing. All of this is actually driving Ethereum's growth like crazy. I'm talking about public companies and heavy hitters like Tom Lee throwing serious cash at Ethereum right now. And get this, Ethereum's long-term chart is sitting at this incredible spot. We're basically staring down this resistance level, just waiting for it to crack. I've been counting and we've bounced off this same resistance 8 different times now. Here's what's wild though. We're not talking about daily movements here. These are monthly candles. That's how many times we've tested this major wall. But once we finally smash through that $4,000 mark and push into the 5K territory, man, you're going to want to hold on tight. That's when things get absolutely wild across the entire altcoin space. Oh, and Tom Lee? He's seeing a massive August rally coming. The guy's predicting markets will hit fresh all-time highs within weeks. With Fed pressure backing off, we could see markets absolutely explode. Right now, we've got this perfect storm brewing around us. But here's the kicker. It's not the kind of storm you run from. This is the storm you want to be right in the middle of. You need to hear what Tom Lee's saying about this.
Fair to say that since it's a dual mandate, that maybe the Fed should have been able to think that there was more risk to a slowdown than to inflation. Do you think they missed that a little bit and they're fighting? I don't know, but Trump said you got to cut, so they couldn't. Maybe they had to err that way just for political reasons.
Yeah, I think the Fed needs to demonstrate independence, but you're right. I think when they look at their dual mandate, they're probably drifting further from the employment metric now, because the unemployment rate, if you use the existing participation rate before this report, it's almost 5% now. So the Fed now has to be considering the risk of jobs market actually going into a cycle of weakening.
Right, but you have also been, I guess dovish is the word, on inflation. You have not thought that there was going to be necessarily a big impact from the tariff regime.
That's right. And I think the biggest takeaway is, first of all, if you look at the latest inflation report, the goods component that are tariff-driven, it's been only mild. But also, if you use the same inflation measure Europe uses, which is inflation ex housing, we're actually under 2%. The Fed, if they were the ECB, would be cutting right now.
That's interesting. So by the end of the year, or what target are you using now, and what time frame?
I think we're going to rally pretty strongly in August. So I think we can get back to 65 or get to 6,600 all-time highs in the next couple weeks.
And then 7,000 in the next 12 months, above that?
Yeah, probably well above that.
Well above that.
Yeah.
I'm totally with Tom Lee on this one. Most people are just expecting more crashes. You know, they're completely missing what's actually going on underneath all the chaos. Here's what's crazy. We've been tracking money market funds since way back in 2022. And it's been this huge indicator that the market was hitting rock bottom and there was this massive pile of cash just waiting to jump into crypto. Well, guess what? today, there's literally $7 trillion just sitting there doing nothing. And here's the breakdown that'll blow your mind. Retail investors are sitting on $2 trillion of that $7 trillion pile. Let me say that again. Regular people like you and me are holding on to $2.9 trillion in cash right now. And institutions, they've got $4.2 trillion parked on the bench. We're talking about an absolutely insane amount of money just waiting on the sidelines for the right moment to make a move. That's a lot of firepower ready to explode into the market when things start heating up. Okay. But what if, and hear me out here, what if markets just keep absolutely ripping to the moon, like higher and higher until people are literally scrambling with FOMO panic attacks? Look, stocks are already bouncing, right? That beautiful blue demand zone we've been stalking like a hawk. It's doing exactly what we predicted. Now listen, I think we're taking a little breather here after that insane run we just witnessed. We might get some choppy action, and you know what? I'm actually loving the idea of some sideways movement right now. Sometimes the market needs to catch its breath before the next explosive move. But guys, and I cannot stress this enough, this is what I'm watching like my life depends on it. I'm seeing surge signals everywhere. And when that reversal finally locks and loads, boom. This reversal we're watching right now is absolutely crushing it. We went from 62.11 straight up to almost 63.30. That's not luck. That's pure momentum. I'm literally sitting on the edge of my seat waiting for us to obliterate that 6,500 level. And when we do, oh man, that 6960 target I've been screaming about becomes our next destination. Here's what's absolutely mind-blowing though. 99% of people out there are still not ready for this. They're still thinking we're going down. The Fed's flipping the script. M2 money supply is pumping liquidity like there's no tomorrow, and guess what? Most people still can't wrap their heads around Ethereum breaking this resistance. But the second, and I mean the very second, Ethereum smashes through and starts gunning for $5,000, altcoins are going to go absolutely mental. Dude, if we flash back to 2021, and I know you veterans remember this chaos, we had altcoins absolutely exploding with 10x gains in just 7 days. Some of these bad boys were hitting 100x returns. Now look, I'm not sitting here telling you every single altcoin is going to pull a 100x. But here's the thing. During alt season, that kind of crazy isn't even shocking anymore. Alt season is literally when the entire crypto space loses its mind. That's when we witness these absolutely insane parabolic moves that'll make you question reality. I'm talking vertical price action that breaks charts. Right now is the golden window to get positioned. You've got to dial in and focus on the actual signals instead of getting caught up in all the FUD and negativity floating around. All right, crypto family, that's all I've got for you today. If this video fired you up and added some value to your trading game, do me a solid and smash that like button. Hit subscribe and crank those notifications to all because I'm constantly dropping free content that could be game-changing for your portfolio. Thanks for rocking with me today, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.